my channel, it's me, Lene. So today I'm going to be listening to the next documentary on the list. It's going to be Misa. I'm very excited about this one because everyone knows Kane and Misa are my favorite if you've been following me long enough. I also have a Band-Maid playlist of all of the Band-Maid songs that I've listened to. I have a few playlists of a lot of the artists that I've listened to, so if anyone wants to go check those out. So without further, let's learn a little bit about Misa. Shout out to the creator of this as well. I'm going to leave the description, or I'm going to leave the original video in the description if anyone wants to go check that out. And without further ado, let's see what's new about Misa.
はい、じゃあ次はベースミサにしましょう。ミサちゃん。ミサちゃんは1回目で言ってびっくりされるのはステージドリンクがウイスキーストレート。本当にあの人酔っ払うんです。ねえ、もう本当に2時間とかはまあ長いとやったりすると。
So for anyone that doesn't know, I've been sober and clean almost not almost, over 4 years now. I just got my 4 years recently. And oh yes, I was a straight vodka drinker. That was always my thing. So this girl, she'd be getting drunk on stage drinking straight whiskey? What?
ね
I wonder what brand.
もう本当に2時間とかはまあ長いとやったりすると、結構後半はもう、フラフラというかもうベロベロというかベロベロですもんね。出来上がりつつある感じですもんね。まあでもよりね、なんだろう、グルービーなベースをそうベースの演奏が良くなるから緊張しいだったりちょっとするところがあるので
She does it to calm her nerves maybe and it makes her play better.
くなるから緊張しいだったりちょっとするところがあるので、ピュアだからとてもバンドメイドで一番純粋な心を持ってるの。見た目はねクールビューティーな、アジアンビューティーな感じなんだけど海外からのね人気はすごいですもんね。一番ですね。ミサってすごいコールが起きるぐらい。だって怖い印象を受けるもんね。最初はあんまりこう喋らないからね。そう。
She does seem like the quiet one. She seems like the more not shy, but just kind of reserved. And she seems like the mysterious person that if you were to walk into a bar, they're the person in the corner that's just staring at the crowd, or like, you know, there's just something about her. I've noticed that. I get like a vibe from her that she's mysterious, you know. 怖い人だと思ってましたっていうコメントよく見る。ね、でも小学生みたいなねことですごいくだらないことでミサちゃん一番笑うし、変顔もすごいする。もう一番。I love this animation by the way of how they're set up on the screen like this. This is adorable. そういうの大好きだもんね。だから怖いとは一番真逆にいる。一番面白い人かもしれない。そうだっぽね。バンドメイドの一番面白い人だっぽね、きっと。
With an introduction like that, I think we can figure out who's going to be highlighted in today's.
The captions are in like a whole other language. Well, we're going to turn those off.
Video. So like that, I think we can figure out who's going to be highlighted in today's video. So today, let's talk about Misa. Misa was born on October 15th in Okayama, a prefecture close to Osaka, and next to Hyogo.
Out of all the songs that I've heard from them, I think Nanners is my favorite so far. I honestly don't know if it's because of Akane and Misa. Like, my gosh. I know I'm biased towards them, but Nanners is so great. That's probably my favorite one so far.
In Okayama, a prefecture close to Osaka, and next to Hyogo, where Akane was born. According to her mother, she was an easy child to raise, as she used to play by herself.
Aww.
Even though she was a lively child, she always avoided dangerous situations and tried to act like an adult. She loved music and arts in general, but hated studying. And just like Kanami and Akane, music has been a part of Misa's life since her early childhood, as she started to learn piano when she was around 4. In elementary school, she joined a brass band and played alto horn. Right when she entered junior high school, Misa moved to Tokyo.
They've so far from all of them I've listened to, they've all been musically inclined from a young age. All of them. That's so great.
Alto horn. Right when she entered junior high school, Misa moved to Tokyo due to family circumstances, and her temper changed a lot. She had a hard time fitting in with life in the big city and getting along with her peers from the same grade. She was also afraid to be judged because of her accent, which was different from the other children, and became more and more introverted. In 7th grade,
dang it, I hate the songs in the background. Because I keep listening to them and I want to just listen to what's going on. I love the songs in the background, but it's very distracting for me.
children, and became more and more introverted. In 7th grade, she started to play guitar, but ended up joining a concert band in 9th grade, where she played the trumpet. Even though she did learn a lot of different instruments, she kept learning piano for a few years. In high school, she played as a guitarist vocalist in a Keon club with a Fender Squier model that she bought. One day, an older...
I'm not gonna lie though, in some of the photos that it's shown of her, she does have a little bit of an intimidating like picture about her. She does seem kind of like you don't want to mess with her, you know.
Friend of Misa asked her she bought. One day, an older friend of Misa asked her if she could join his band as a bassist. Until then, she'd never thought about playing bass. She started to play guitar and always wanted to play drums, but bass? It had never crossed her mind. Misa borrowed a bass and started to...
It's funny because Akane and her have that in common, you know, that they both kind of dabbled in a lot of different things before they settled in on the specific thing that they were going to play.
It had never crossed her mind. Misa borrowed a bass and started to play, and even though it was difficult, she loved it and bought a Squier P bass immediately so she could give back the bass she borrowed. And one of the main reasons Misa got introduced to music at such an early age was that her mother listened to music all the time. This is how Misa got to hear bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and The Who when she was still only in kindergarten. Her mother was also very supportive and
I don't think I've heard Afterlife.
helped Misa choose the right school when she hesitated between university and professional college. Misa started a course on sound engineering in a professional college before changing to a bass course, as she didn't want to work behind a stage, but on stage as a professional bassist. Before talking about Band-Maid, let's take a look at Misa's past experience in the music industry. Except for small bands during her school years, Misa had been a member of a band named Prototype for 5.5 years between 2008 and 2013. Prototype was a small band composed of 4 members, and the band made at least 2 mini-albums and performed several live concerts. We don't have that much information, but it seems that they sold their CDs directly and not via music stores. They used to perform in and around Shimokitazawa, which is where Misa lived, and Shibuya. There is a review of one of their live performances which states that they sound like the Smashing Pumpkins and are appealing to everyone who loves Western music. The person who wrote this review also said that they couldn't stop smiling. It sounds like this band must have played some great music. But that's not all. While she was playing for Prototype, Misa joined another band called Hurtist. This band was formed with 6 members who performed live several times before disbanding in October 2012. You can find 3 of their live videos on their YouTube channel. Misa and Akane also met in 2012 as they were going to the same school, the Tokyo Music School. They connected immediately as instrumentalists.
Oh, there's my girls. I love them.
The Tokyo Music School. They connected immediately as instrumentalists and worked together on several projects. The same year, they made an appearance as actors in an MV of the singer-actress Becky with the song Yoruka Switch. In 2015, Misa, along with Konami and Akane, were at the 5th anniversary party of the idol band Predia in Zepp Tokyo as a backing band. You do remember the link between Predia and Band-Maid, right? There was a band called Mochi to Cheese made by Akane, Konami, and 3 members from Predia. All right, we are in May 2013. Prototype announced that they will disband in July, and Band-Maid posted an audition announcement on May 29th. The next month, on June 5th, Misa announced on her old account linked to Prototype that she's going to an audition. Does this mean that Misa had the perfect timing to join Band-Maid? Let's see how she was recruited. In another interview, Misa confirmed that Akane tried to recruit her into Band-Maid right when Prototype announced their disbanding. But Akane didn't know about this information, so she was bold enough to invite Misa to join another band. And it paid off. Now, Misa has said that she was in izakaya when Akane called her, and she was pretty drunk, so she had to take at least the night to think about it. Misa listened to the demo and found that the songs were proper rock music and cool. She was actually afraid that this band would be an idol band.
It's kind of like Akane had that feeling too. You know, it seems like almost all the girls were a little weary to join into an all-girls band because there is such a stigma around them. So it's great that they all came together and realized, no, we're a very serious band, you know, not that other bands aren't serious, but I noticed that they both kind of had that same thought when it came to this.
That this band would be an idol band. As she didn't want to stop playing bass, Misa quickly accepted the invitation to join Band-Maid the day after Akane talked to her.
Good.
So in the end, Miku recruited Konami, who was found on Nico Nico. And then Konami recruited Akane just after the restaurant she was working at closed, and Akane recruited Misa just after her group disbanded. Wow. If that is not fate, I don't know what is.
I like how Konami's eyes are closed in that way.
Now that Misa had joined Band-Maid, it's a new start for our favorite bassist. A new start, yes, but with one problem. The maid outfit.
So I have noticed Misa's outfits are the most conservative. They're long sleeve, they are long skirt. Like, she is completely covered. So it makes me wonder if she did kind of have a little bit of an issue with the maid outfit, you know, because she definitely ain't dressed like Miku. So
Yes, but with one problem. The maid outfit. Misa was never into cosplay, so she wasn't used to wearing this kind of clothing. She felt really uncomfortable during the first live shows and with the first version of her outfit. It was also around this time when Misa thought about quitting Band-Maid. It was during the first or second one-man performance, and Misa was already working a lot in addition to her work for Band-Maid, so she was in really bad physical and mental condition. She felt that the music she liked was too far from the music she played with the band, and started to think about leaving and forming a band where she could play the kind of music she liked. She talked to the manager, who proposed that she take a good look at the view from the stage, at the Masters and Princesses, and decide after that. Thankfully, the reactions and responses from the crowd that day moved Misa deeply enough so she chose to stay with Band-Maid.
good.
She was sure that this band had great potential and could become way bigger. Time flies by, and we are at that moment where Konami is writing songs for the band. From world domination, but more in Conqueror and Unseen World, Misa actively participated in songwriting on her bass lines and has felt more freedom since then. Konami gives out notes from time to time depending on the song and what she has in mind. While writing music, Misa thinks more about what would serve the quality of the song rather than be sure that it's playable immediately. She had difficulties recording some songs of
I wonder if that's why there's a good amount of bass solos in Band-Maid songs, because it gives Misa that chance to play what she wants to play, you know?
It's playable immediately. She had difficulties recording some songs of Unseen World because of that, but she managed to get them recorded in the end by spending more time on the hardest parts. And even if a song is really difficult for her, Misa will always practice enough so that she doesn't have to look at her hands while she's playing live.
That's one thing I love the most about this band, man. They push themselves. They don't settle for just being like, oh, okay, we're good enough. You know, we sell out, a good amount of arenas and we have some albums, but they push themselves, and I love that so much. That's what makes bands last for many, many years, if not decades, is learning, practicing, progressing, you know? I love their dedication to the music.
Misa will always practice enough so that she doesn't have to look at her hands while she's playing live. For example, the first part of No God was written by Konami, and she asked Misa to write the rest of the song.
Huh.
At this time, Misa was learning bass and drum programming, so she wrote those two parts, including her solo.
Ah, I haven't heard this one. Dang it. Okay, just for y'all, I'm going to turn the volume down on my headphones and play it for y'all.
It was a new
Okay, I think it's
experience for her,
okay.
and she had to send new riffs to Konami every week for Unseen World. And although she obviously sent her demos to Konami, Misa used to send them to another member, Psyche. Misa sent her work to Psyche to confirm that her bass line was easy to sing with, and also because Psyche praises her a lot.
And I love how they work with each other. One doesn't try to overpower the other. They work together. A lot of times you'll see that in bands, that one wants to overshadow another.
Sing with, and also because Psyche praises her a lot. And Misa loves to be praised by Psyche when she's working on a new song. As she wrote in an interview, I just send them to her without saying anything in order to get praised by her. That's my source of energy. That makes me enjoy drinking better. What a great group of friends they are. There are two particularities regarding Misa when you see her perform on stage. The first one is that she never wears shoes when she's playing, with some exceptions on very hot days during outside performances, as the stage can get really hot. This is something she has done since the beginning of Band-Maid.
That makes me think of the lead singer of Nothing More, Johnny Hawkins. So if anyone wants to go check out, I have some reactions to some Nothing More songs, but he's the lead singer, and he always performs with no shirt on, all painted up, barefoot. He has to perform barefoot.
You can see her wearing shoes in some MV, but most of the time, she likes to play barefoot. She answered a question from a fan in 2014 on Twitter, saying that heels hurt her feet and are really hard to walk in, so she chose not to wear anything at all. Misa even ended up with the nickname, the Barefoot Assassin. Why? Well, first of all, she plays barefoot. And during the Gold Rush interview, when the band was asked about the maid outfits, and particularly Misa's, which didn't look like a maid outfit, Miku answered that it's an assassin-made outfit. The second thing you'll notice about Misa is that she always has a bottle of whiskey on her amp while performing live. And she even drinks in the MV of Don't You Tell Me.
That's the one where so she's drinking and then Akane's eating because Akane's obsessed with food. Oh, wow. Okay, so that one's Take Me Higher. I'm so writing that down because I want to see that one. That might be the next song that I listen to. That and No God. I keep hearing a lot about that one as well. That is so funny.
While performing live. And she even drinks in the MV of Don't You Tell Me. If you look closely at every performance, you can spot the bottle that she drinks.
Oh no, that wasn't Take Me Higher. Take Me Higher is what's playing in the background. Don't You Tell Me was the song. My bad. Okay.
During MCs. At every performance, you can spot the bottle that she drinks during MCs. During the US tour in 2022, She even had her own opening ceremony where she opened a can of beer in front of her mic to make a loud sound, and the audience really loved that moment. Misa used to open a can of beer or drink whiskey during MCs for a long time, and she even shared a bit of her whiskey with a fan in 2019 during a concert in the New York Mercury Lounge.
Oh, wow.
She is thought to be the one who drinks the most, but if you had a chance to listen to the Radio for Omesu-sama episode aired on August 1st, 2021, you would learn that they all actually drink a lot, except for Konami, who falls asleep before she gets a chance to drink. Despite her love for alcohol, Misa tweeted in May 2022 that she came to realize that it was too much for her and she decided to be more careful in the future. And now it's time to talk about Misa's playstyle. As usual, I'll let proper bassists present their thoughts to you on what they think about Misa. Gentlemen, if you please.
So what makes Misa a great bassist? First of all, she went to musical school, so she learned a lot about music theory. You can see that in her playing. She's constantly moving around the root note, adding or removing note at the end of her phrases, changing the tone by going all over the neck and not just staying at the low end. She masters all the playing styles, finger style, slap, pick. She knows when to use them and always use the right one at the right moment. She can switch from one to another in a blink of an eye, like when she does her pick flip to switch from pick to slap. Her right hand work is...
So the typical way to play bass, and well, not typical, but I guess the more well-known way is slap bass. You don't play with a pick, you play finger picking. And my brother plays bass, and he always plays it with a pick. Anytime I played bass, I always finger picked. So it depends on what's easier or better, I guess, for someone else, and it makes a different sound whenever you use finger picking versus using a pick.
Switch from pick to slap. Her right hand work is so smooth and precise. It's mesmerizing. When it comes to her role in the band, she's a lead bassist. She can flawlessly jump from just playing the root note to taking the lead and or providing an harmony to the vocals, and all of this in the same bar.
Y'all said in one of my other videos that someone's always dropping their pick. Is that Miku, Konami, or Misa? Because I saw in one video they kind of had like a battle where they both went to the front of the stage, and it was a guitar / bass battle where one went and then the other went and the other went. And I said one of them bowed at first, and I thought, oh my god, that's so cool. She's like bowing to give the other one their moment. And then some people in the comments were like, nah, she probably dropped her pick. I wonder if that's Misa, because if you're switching from finger picking to using the real pick, there's more probability of a chance of dropping your pick.
Adding an harmony to the vocals, and all of this in the same bar. There is no boundaries in her playing. That's what makes her so interesting and very inspiring to me. She's my favorite bassist, and I hope to hear her and Band-Maid for a lot more years.
When I think back about all of the bands that I've loved for many years, so many great bass players. But when I think of the bassists who really excited me, or more importantly, the ones whose parts I wanted to learn how to play, I think they all have kind of one thing in common. And that's the use of the bass, not just as a tonal and rhythmic foundation for a song, or that kind of glue that holds a band together, but they use the instrument as another source of melody and melodicism.
That's what I love the most about how Misa plays in the band. Most of the time when a bassist plays, it like he said, it's to hold the melody, it's to hold the tone. You never hardly hear bass solos ever. So that's why I was blown away whenever I first heard that they were really giving Misa some time. Like they were letting the bassist have their moment. Because a lot of times in bands, the bassist doesn't really get acknowledged too often. Just because a lot of the times they're overshadowed by the other instruments. Now, the bass is prominent in the music. You would notice if the bass wasn't there for sure. But it's not something that whenever you're listening to the song, you're immediately like, oh, yep, there's the bass. I hear the whole beat of the bass. It's usually, like he said, something to just mend together the whole song.
and musicality. And I think there are far fewer of those kinds of bassists out there. So imagine my delight as a bassist discovering Band-Maid, where you have Misa, who's just constantly up and down the neck playing what aren't super complicated parts, but making these really, really musical choices about, a note here versus a note here. She's in many ways a counterpart to Konami in that they're always expanding on a riff or adding new textures or new little motifs. They may play something fairly straight the first time, but after that, forget it. And it's not, again, like the parts are super complicated or technically difficult. They're just really, really smart, or for me, the big thing is that they're really musical.
How would I describe Misa's playing style? That's a tall order. What makes her special to me is her writing and her flawless ability to judge what to play and when to play it, without shying away from taking up space. Mm-hmm. She doesn't just serve the song, filling out the lower frequencies, locking up with the drums. She's actively creating a large portion of what makes the songs what they are. The groove, drive, momentum, anticipation, tension. It's like all her parts serve a purpose larger than just playing notes that work in the right tempo. She really adds another thick layer to the onion that is Band-Maid. One of my favorite habits of hers is when she's having a bit of a bass solo during the guitar solo, as can be heard in Manners and Reincarnation, for example.
I think that's why Manners is one of my favorite songs from them. I was just about to say that,
The guitar solo, as can be heard in Manners and Reincarnation, for example. It's so backwards to the old tropes about backing down during a solo, but it's always so tastefully made and never distracting, rather the opposite. She also has this ability to tap into what the other instruments are doing and create her own parts from that, seamlessly switching between what instruments to follow. A prime example of that can be heard in the second verse of About Us, especially in the live version. She starts out by establishing the groove with the drum.
I'm going to write that down, About Us, because I don't think I've heard that one either.
Drums for the first the live version. She starts out by establishing the groove with the drums for the first 3 bars, and then a fill during the 4th bar, setting herself up for the next 4 bars, where she gradually starts playing off the vocals. The first 2 bars by matching the vocal phrases, subdivided by 16th notes, and for the second 2 bars, now the transition is complete, and now she just plays a lower harmony to the vocals. After that, she immediately switches to locking up rhythmically to Konami's octave climb for 1 bar. And then, for the last bar, she rounds everything off with a little fill of 16th notes, almost like a drum fill. All that during 10 bars. Her playing and writing is a big reason why I keep coming back to their music over and over again.
Thank you very much for taking the time to share your experience and knowledge and your feelings regarding Misa's playstyle. I wonder what you, the viewer, what do you think of Misa as a bassist? I'm very interested to know what's on your mind. Let's move to the end of our journey. Misa learned to play a lot of instruments, and even though she knew which ones she wanted
y'all already basically know how I feel, but I'll let y'all know more towards the end.
to learn, she ended instruments. And even though she knew which ones she wanted to learn, she ended up playing the one instrument she never even thought about. From the moment she picked up a bass, Misa never stopped playing it. She loves bass so much that she even switched courses to become a professional bassist and live from her passion. In the end, Misa ended up with Band-Maid thanks to the boldest move and the perfect timing. And Band-Maid is a band where everyone shines. Everyone has a moment in every song. We're used to seeing guitarists and drummers being highlighted, but bassists? That's not very common.
Exactly.
How many bands that you listen to allow their bassists to really shine?
None.
I'm talking about
well,
bands with 2
not
guitars or a guitar and a piano. I'm sure you can find some examples, but since its creation, Band-Maid has always found a way to allow Misa to find her spotlight. From thrill to influencer, dice, or even manners. During live performances introducing a song, or to go crazy on a duel with Konami. Even though Misa's personality is mostly...
I love her, dude. I love her so much. I love that the band lets her do this kind of stuff.
Even though Misa's personality is mostly introverted, when she is on stage playing bass, she seems finally free and is having the time of her life. She even learned programming and participated actively in the songwriting process. Since she joined Band-Maid, Misa followed her passion to become a professional bassist and surrounded herself with the best group of friends who have become very close to what we can call a family.
So it said earlier that whenever they come over to America, everyone just starts chanting Misa. I wonder why. Once again, big shout out to this page for doing this and creating these. So amazing, man. Gives someone little like me information about the band, you know, to know more about them, have more passion and love for the band. Absolutely amazing. Misa is amazing. Like the other guys were saying, she has so many different things that she does in a lot of the songs that she plays. I almost can't keep up with her part too much, and I really try to focus a lot on Misa and Akane. And at that time, then I kind of lose focus on y'all. I have severe ADHD. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I used to have to take a lot of medication for it. So that's why whenever I hear other songs in the background, it distracts me, you know, and I cannot focus. I try and I end up just going blank in my head and I register nothing. So I kind of have to focus either more on the music, more on the lyrics, you know. Some people get irritated with that about me, but I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. This band is amazing though, and I have written down Don't You Tell Me and About Us. Those are the next two that I definitely want to listen to. And next up is Miku, y'all, and I think it's a three-parter, two or three for sure. And I know she's the founding member and that she was the one that did work in the Maid Cafe. So I want to definitely know the history of her, and it must be fairly important considering there's so many parts to hers. So, like and subscribe if you'd like to. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and listening to me. And with that,